What's up, guys? Elite 60 Hacks back for another gun review. Today I've got the Savage Model 11 Hog Hunter and 223 Remington. So I bought this gun as kind of like an outdoorsman wilderness type rifle that I can basically hunt any type of game, because where I'm from, varmints or coyotes are considered varmints, and you're not allowed to shoot varmints with anything over a 23 caliber. So this is kind of a rifle that gives me that capability to hunt coyotes, but also, like with some of the more powerful loads you can load in 223, you can hunt pretty much anything in North America if you get your shot placement right. So this gun originally came with a kind of like an OD green stock, but I actually painted this black. It kind of looks shitty on this lighting, but I painted it black because I thought it looked nicer. And on top here I've got a Bushnell AR Optics 3-9x40, and the reason why I have these two mounts kind of facing in like this is because I couldn't find a full length base for this gun, and the scope's kind of too short to have just straight up and down bases, so that's kind of why that looks like that. So yeah, this is a pretty nice gun actually. You can see kind of got the extended Savage enlarged Savage bolt knob there. Accutrigger, believe it's just like any other accutrigger. I believe this one's out of the box probably about 3 or 4 pounds. I felt lighter accutriggers, but it's perfect. This one actually comes with kind of like a iron sights there. You see the front, and a threaded muzzle, threaded 1/2x28. The sights are actually really nice, and the way I've got this set up with these bases, I can actually see the sights through the bases, so that's kind of nice too. Got a pretty squishy recoil pad too. It's almost a little too squishy. It kind of like doesn't feel like it's secured on there very well, but it works. I mean, 223 doesn't have that much recoil anyway, but it's pretty nice. I have a sling on here, but I just bought this cheap $10 sling at Walmart, I think. So yeah. So features of this gun: 20-inch barrel, 1-9 twist, I believe. It's got a the website actually says a 4-round magazine, but you can actually fit 5 with a bit of a caveat. I found on mine that the when you load all 5 rounds, the second round kind of, when you go to chamber, it kind of pops out. But I bet if you only loaded 4, you'd be fine. And you can kind of see it's kind of loads from the top, and it's an internal box magazine. You can kind of see it in there. There's no floor plate or anything. And on that, it's actually kind of funny. If you take this gun down, it looks like they just took like a normal Savage box magazine and glued it into the bottom of the stock, because it almost looks like you just take it out and like convert it into a detachable magazine. So that's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little weird there. One thing I've noticed about this magazine is that, I don't know if you can see in there, but you kind of have like their flange tabs in there, and you can it's a little hard to load because it's kind of a narrow opening to feed the rounds down through, and they can kind of get caught on the sides, like where those gaps are. So it's a little bit of a pain to load the rifle, but I'm not going to complain that much. I only bought this gun for like 700 Canadian, so that's a pretty good deal. Bolt operates really smooth. Ejection's really nice on it. Like I said, the accutrigger works really well. The stock is actually pillar bedded, which is kind of nice. It's not just a straight up plastic stock all the way through. So I was pleasantly surprised with that. It's also free floated, and it's like pretty, I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty heavily free floated too. So even with a bipod, I've shot this with a bipod on it. Even with a bipod, you still have tons of clearance. So you're not going to run into some clearance issues with that. But I'm thinking about actually bedding this like with JB Weld or something like that, just to squeeze a little bit more accuracy out of it. So on the kind of accuracy topic, I guess, I have a couple of targets. I've taken this out to the range probably 3-4 times maybe. and it gets pretty good accuracy. I was hoping for a little bit more, but that could have been that I was using mostly hand loads and kind of cheaper factory ammunition. So these are, I think, 3/4 inch squares, by the way. So there's one group kind of about 1.5. I think these were, that's another one, 1.66. These are actually, even though this is a 1 and 9, it shoots the 75 grain boat tail hollow points from Hornady, the match rounds, actually pretty well. I was pretty surprised with that. And I actually, just for fun, I've tested the Hornady 80 grain AMAX rounds with that, and it's getting about a 2-inch group there. It's kind of funny. These rounds don't fit in the magazine, so you have to load them one at a time. But they shoot, like, they drop really little at 600 meters or so. So they're pretty nice especially if you had a gun with 1.7 twist. But they still work reasonably well out of this 1 and 9. What else we got? Okay, so these are just 55 grains that I think. 55 grain full metal jacket boat tails, kind of a little bit over 2.1 MOA there, so it's not great. More 55 grains, 1.5 MOA there, another kind of 2.1 with that same 55 grain load there. It's just these kind of cheap bulk pack Campro 55 grains, and then those 75s. I've got these actually really nice rounds. Out of all the rounds I've shot in this gun, these 75s shoot the best. But I'm sure if I found out like a quality lighter load, like that lighter 55 grain load, they'd probably shoot better out of the 1 and 9. But the 75s do shoot pretty well. And these 80s though, they're pretty crazy. They super long bullet, super high ballistic coefficient. I really like these. I just wish I had a gun with a faster twist maybe, so I could take a little more advantage. But gun still does well. I got a few more here. That was kind of a shitty first group with the 55s. Then I got another one. What was I didn't actually write down the measurement on that one, but that's with I think that was Winchester white box. So not that great. And those are American Eagle 62 grain. I didn't write the size on that either, but you can kind of get an idea with the 3/4 inch squares. More of my hand loads, 2 point. I didn't write the length, the sizes on any of these actually. I got one more here. So these were kind of some Hornady, more the AMAX 80 grain. And there's no one in there. They're not the greatest with this, but also that part of that could have just been my I'm a bit of an amateur reloader, and there's more of the 75s. But yeah, so not quite 1 MOA from my shooting, but I'm sure I could get it there with a little more tweaking, and if I try to maybe some factory ammo or anything like that. So shoots pretty well. Shoots definitely well, better than than what I need it to, I guess, because I just kind of want this as like a general purpose, kind of like hunting, outdoorsman rifle kind of thing. Yeah, so the one thing I kind of noticed, I mean, I guess you can't really complain because this is a bit of a budget rifle, but you kind of get a little bit of machining marks here. You can kind of, I don't know if you can hear that kind of like zipper kind of sound there, but it's a little bit disappointing. But honestly, I've seen that on some of the like more expensive Savages, like the Model 10 Stealth, which I was kind of like, that gun's are pretty expensive, so I wouldn't expect that on that. But yeah, take the bolt out on this one. I can't really do it one-handed here, but you gotta kind of, it's a little bit of a trick, because you gotta obviously have the bolt back and then pull the trigger and push this tab there. So once you kind of get the hang of it, it's not that bad. But yeah, no, really nice gun. Few issues, but for the money, for 700 Canadian, like I mean, I could go down to like pay 600 for like an Axis 2, but it's just not the same. Doesn't come with the same features. Might come with a shitty scope, but I would have probably ended up replacing that anyway. So yeah, nice gun. I wouldn't hesitate to buy one, actually. All right, peace out, guys.